Welcome back to the Sixth Man. We've got Salt Bray, we've got the Sixth Man himself, and we've got House Lasku. And in keeping with the theme, we're looking forward because at the moment it's a big old list of G League players and a lot of COVID. I want to look at which teams are one move away. One move away, be that from moving up to be a championship level team or to go from a losing team to a winning team. I'm really going to leave it open to interpretation. I think we're going to start with Alex. Who you got?
Okay, so my team last year they did the best. Well, they got the furthest they've ever got before, and they're in a city where they're overshadowed, and it's obviously the people of that town. They're fans of another team. But I think the team that are one move away and is really interesting is the LA Clippers. Currently, they are somehow fifth in the West. They obviously haven't got Kawhi, but PG has been playing really well as he normally does, especially in the regular season at 17 and 15. But yeah, it's been a weird year. But I had a look at the numbers. I did my House Lasky impersonation, and I was looking at where this team is struggling. They're currently sitting at 25th for offensive rating. But not only that, but this team seems like they can't collect rebounds because they're 27th overall in total rebound percentage. So I think go after an Isaiah Stewart, Rashawn Holmes, a Precious Achua. These players they create energy, which is rewarded through extra possessions and extra offense. And I think that this can ultimately change the momentum of a playoff game. So if I was the Clippers, that's where I would be looking for. Somebody to protect the rim, somebody to run the lane hard and finish and get easy opportunities close at the rim. That's my pick.
You know what's so funny? Apart from the protect the rim stuff, that person was Montrezl Harrell. That's what he does. And they couldn't play him in the playoffs because teams figured out how to completely get him out of the game. Because at the end of the day, he wasn't good enough to be who they needed him to be. But they had that in the regular season, and it worked out so well for them. And then now they haven't got anyone to fill that role. That's so interesting.
It's all about matchups, though. I think Montrez is he's a lot more offensive focused, and I would like to see a bit more of a balance. I know this can be quite technical, but I really like what Isaiah Stewart brings to the Pistons. Whenever I've seen him, he always plays super hard. Same with Rashawn Holmes. He was a great bench player for Philly, and I was really sad to see him go. Somebody who plays hard, and I think that's what you need, man, especially in playoff games when plays are so few and far between. But yeah,
even someone maybe like Thomas Bryant over in Washington, who was injured last year, but he's a really talented big man.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I don't think Washington would give him up, but I like what Gafford does as well. He's a high percentage of blocks. He can somehow get his own offense, so something like that. A two-way player, two-way big.
All right. I think I'm going to keep with the theme that Alex just did. I'm going to go next because I've got two teams. I think that are one move away, and again, it's at that center position. I think that they could really like that would just take them to the next level. First team, I'm going to be a homer, is the Bulls. Get a backup center for the love of God. If they get a backup center who can play defense, you can then play them at the four, play him and Vooch at 4 and 5, because it allows you to be better on defense, and Vooch just makes up for it on offense because he can shoot. It's just like.
Have you guys tried Tony Bradley? Has he got any minutes?
Tony Bradley's been fine.
He's decent.
He's decent, but he's not enough.
TB, baby.
He's not enough. He's not a good enough rim protector because the Bulls are a good rim protector away from being a truly elite defense. And also, when they come up against people in the playoffs, they're going to really struggle to defend the paint when Vooch is the only big. People are going to get him into foul trouble. It's going to be barbecue chicken. Like, it's really tough against people like Giannis, people like Embiid, people like Durant. They're just they're like, honestly, Vooch can just about hold up sometimes on defense, and sometimes he gets absolutely abused. It just is who he is. Get a defensive guy, and you can mitigate a lot of that. Obviously, it would be better when Pat Walker comes back as well. But yeah, so that's one.
Just to remind you, Vooch has beaten Giannis in a playoff game before, but carry on.
In a playoff game, my ceiling for the Bulls is not a game. It's a series, maybe a few series. No, I feel you though.
I think Bray wants Vooch to go.
No.
I think that's what he wants to go.
Offensively, he complements Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, both of them perfectly. He slings passes out to Lonzo. Like when he shoots well, oh my god, it's beautiful. But defensively, it's a problem. They need someone to cover up that. For example, maybe I would have said Miles Turner, but it seems like Miles Turner wants a bad team to go to so he can stun a bit. But could you imagine someone like Jared Allen or something filling that role? That'd be incredible. But I don't know who the realistic targets are. We'll find out, I guess, if the Bulls are able to continue their success from the front office. The other team who could also use a center, I would say, at the starting position is the Bucks. And that is because Brook Lopez has been out for all but one game this season with a back injury. I understand that the Giannis center lineups are the way to go in crunch time in the playoffs. You need to get there first. And there are going to be some games, like there was one game where it was like the Brook Lopez game that kept their playoff hopes alive against Brooklyn. Like if they had a healthy Brook Lopez, I wouldn't be saying this, but they need someone to fill that because he's just not available. It's a real shame for them. It would make them far and away the favorite to make the finals in the East. I think they already are, but I think that would be a real way to shore up their team and make them a championship favorite again.
Are you going first or am I going first?
The disrespect for Boogie Cousins is unbelievable. I just, that's not even me being sarcastic. I love Boogie, and I'm not. I'm like he's gonna do bits. He's gonna do bits. You watch
defensive stopper, Boogie Cousins.
What did Will Smith say, bro?
What did he say?
Summertime. If it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. What are you doing, bro? Why are you trying to fix something? Giannis at the 5.
I was really worried.
I
was really worried you're going with Will Smith quotes.
He's been speaking out of turn. Nobody cares, Will. Nobody cares. But listen, it's worked for them before. They've got the similar rosters to last year. The record with those three playing, the Bucks are fine, barring any injuries or COVID. No problems.
I do hear you though on a Brook Lopez thing, because he had some really impactful games and caused some mismatch issues for teams, the way he stretched up the floor, because bigs just do not want to be out there. And if opposing bigs do come out to guard him, it leaves Giannis as the biggest player than grabbing rebounds on the offensive side for the Bucks. It's just they love that. They love doing that. But again, I'm higher on Boogie Cousins than most people are. But yeah, that's why I disagree with that.
Giannis is Shaq. He's basically Shaq.
Yeah, I know he is, but you want him to last. You don't want him to have to be doing all this banging.
He's an animal. Do you see that injury he had in the playoffs, and he carried on where he hyperextension his knee?
I know, it was horrific. He's an animal. He's a freak of nature. He is now. How old is he? 25, 26? I don't want him to break down when he's 30. I want to conserve that for the next 10 years. I want 10 years of Giannis being a beast. And to do that, you need a center to play behind him.
And also on that point as well, sorry, Bray, when the Bucks do come up against bigs, really good bigs, there is always a big guard in them. They don't like Giannis to guard him because they want Giannis to play like a free roam on defense as well. That's also another thing that I noticed from last year. But yeah, if they come up against Embiid, they don't want Giannis guarding Embiid. They still want Giannis in a free roam and have someone else guarding Embiid. So that's just also another note on that.
Yeah, no, he's the best help defender in the league, hands down. Hands down.
Ed, what about your answer? Who have you got?
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot, mommy. Yes. So I'm picking one of my teams, the ones I drafted, who are all shit and barely above 500, but I'm going to go for one of them. And that is the Boston Celtics. Now, that's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they got a new front office. I say Brad Stevens is now moving on to a front office, who's now moved on to a front office position. And there's always the rumors about Tatum and Brown. Is Brown going to get moved on? Yada, yada. It feels a little bit like the whole Portland stuff. CJ McCollum was always on the cusp of being traded. Like, is it going to work? Like, that was always felt like the storyline going into it. How much longer are they going to continue them to go forward? I do believe as a duo, they are better than Dame and CJ, even at their pomp. But questions will now start to be asked, etc., etc. And it seems like wings now have somehow become one of the most important positions. Apart from Steph Curry, you have to go quite a while to find a non-wing, or maybe centers as well. Forget that point. And they have made some moves to try and get a point guard in, or to try and move things around. They got in Kemba Walker. That didn't work. They brought in Dennis Schroeder. Is he better coming off the bench than he is starting? Maybe. Is there another point guard or another guard or another predominant ball handler that will work better in that lineup? So that's it from like the overall perspective. But even as a perspective this year, so Jaylen Brown's come back from injury, and which has obviously been good, and they've been looking better. One thing that I was reading an article on NBA.com about the Celtics and doing some analysis, and what they noticed is the Celtics in the clutch, how much worse they are in the clutch compared to outside of the clutch. So the clutch is the last 5 minutes of the game within 5 points, and this year they are 7th in the league outside of the clutch. But when it comes to clutch games, they are 25th. They've got a 35% win record when they're in the clutch. And a lot of it comes down to their really poor shot selection, that ISO ball, which sometimes doesn't necessarily work. They don't get the best shot. And also their defense. Their clutch defense needs to drop so much when the game matters. So that's also why I think they can maybe be a piece away. Could it be a Ben Simmons package? They might not have the assets for it, but that would work super nicely as a primary ball handler and someone who can defend versatile positions. They can carry on switching quite a bit, but they just don't have the assets. Could it be someone else? A ball handler will be great, but maybe another defender might also help them. But yeah, that's why I think, Celtics, they're on the cusp. You want them to push forward, either fully go for it. You want them to fully commit.
Yeah,
I definitely don't. Couldn't guard Embiid in the clutch, could they?
I mean, so my only problem is I think they're more than one move away. I don't like the fringe pieces enough. It's not.
Will Marcus Smart be gone? Will he finally be gone?
Mate, I mean, I can't believe it's taking this long. But who knows? I think they definitely have some moves to make. A lot of teams do. It's very, very exciting. And it's funny, Ed. Obviously, you mentioned they might be, be able to put a package together for Ben Simmons. The Sixers are one trade away. Trade Ben Simmons. I think.
Dude, we do need to move him seriously. The Embiid window is very real.
Yeah,
we need to move him.
Especially because Embiid has been an actual monster.
He's been on and off, but he's turned it up recently. But yeah, it's hard, man, especially when it's on and off the games. But we need to make a move. But the Celtics, I agree with Bray. I think they're more than one move away. And this whole Tatum and Brown, I guess it's just shifting a blame on somebody, right? The team's not performing well. They've also regressed from the team that took LeBron to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Which is incredible. Like, look at the players that were on that team. I mean, you have Rozier, who was, incredible. Amazing turn of events. Yeah.
Just during this conversation, it made me realize what's wrong with all the Fresh Princes in Philadelphia. Will Smith, Ben Simmons, like what's going on there? There must be something in there.
At least we got Princes. We got an Orlando.
Yeah.
We got Mickey. We got man like Mickey.
Mickey. Creepy voice.
Dear. All right. The last thing I want to ask you both, because the other team that I had on my list was the Golden State Warriors, who might already be the favorite to win the championship. However, they do have some young pieces they could cash in. If you were Bob Myers, the GM, I think he's the GM, would you cash in their young pieces? What's the rookie they drafted this year?
Wise.
What's his face? The guy from the G League, Jonathan Kuminga.
Would you cash in
Kuminga? And they also got the other guy. They got 2. They got Kuminga,
Wiseman, and maybe the other guy. Maybe you just need those 2. Would you cash those guys in for another star or for another big piece to go alongside Steph? Hopefully, play when he comes back. Wiggins and Draymond.
Oh, I was gonna say no as well. But okay. One, you trust Warriors with their players' development, and they haven't had these sort of high picks in so long. Maybe maybe it's quite naive for me to say, but why not keep them and why not have the future built around them for the next cycle? Like you're not very likely to pick this high in the draft again. You've picked them on upside. Jonathan Kuminga was supposed to be an upside player, and I think the other guy was maybe Moses Moody. Why not just keep them, try to develop them, and see what they can do in the playoffs? Most draft picks will never play. Most first year players or second year players will never play in the conference finals or the NBA finals. This would be great for their development, but I don't think they should.
Winning culture, bro, is so important, and I don't think anybody is opposed to playing with Steph Curry. And you know what changes anything is wins. They've got a lot of them. These players could be pivotal in 5-minute stretches when it comes to playoff games. You put Wiseman in as a big body, maybe he bodies up against another big, put some pressure on, challenge some shots, keep him. So I say.
You are preaching to the converted. We're all in agreement on that one. No trades for the Warriors. Let's see if they follow our advice. Obviously, it is the best. That's all for this one, and we'll catch you in the next one.